Hi everybody. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of support here with using Google Data Studio. It's a lot of fun. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And I can see this being something that's really good for design through the years. So probably first off, you want to have a tab on your browser that takes you to datastudio.google.com, like my screen here. So go there and it should log you in with your school email address. So check the icon up here in the top right just to make sure it's your school icon. And then the screen will look like this. Then what you do is you leave this tab for now and you go to your survey because your surveys often have all the data, right? So here's an example survey that I did a couple of years ago. It was for staff and I had 8 responses. And this is the editor's view, obviously, of the survey because I'm the one that created it. And it's a pretty simple survey, but I'm going to go over here and click on the responses tab. There they are. And these are all the people and all their answers. Yours will probably be a bit simpler than that. All you need to do here for your next step is to click on this spreadsheet icon, the spreadsheet picture, create spreadsheet, and that's a good name. We don't do select existing spreadsheet, we do this one, create new spreadsheet. And then you click create. And that opens up into a spreadsheet, which is great. This is just what I want. Now I'm going to go over here to the share. And I'm going to click on that share button and make sure that I have a URL for this spreadsheet so that I can quickly access it. So I'm going to do a get link and I'm going to share it with anybody who has the link. So I'm going to change permissions here. And with the link. Go back to DataStudio and you're going to create a new report within DataStudio because the reports are the fun part. They're the way that you can get different visualizations and screens of your data like these ones here in the template gallery. It's awesome and it really helps communicate your data quite easily and nicely. So you just go over to create and you do create report and it's asking for an account setup, so okay, I'm going to select country. I guess I'll select South Korea. That's under S. Sometimes it's under K. Oh, there it is, South Korea. And the company, it's the International School, Busan. Service. Okay, so continue. I don't really want email preferences like emails about recommendations and product announcements. So I'm going to click no to all of these. Step 2 of 2, the account setup. Continue. And then it takes me to a new screen for this untitled report. And all I need to do here is click on the Google Sheets because that's where the data is coming from. Remember, we created on Google Sheets. So I click here, and okay, I authorize that. That happened. And then it starts to show me all my spreadsheet items. And if you're lucky, then it'll pop up right here at the front, at the top. Perfect, that's the one that I wanted. But if you're a little bit unlucky, you might have to go to the URL, and then you might have to enter the URL that we just copied. Just paste that in, and then you can click for that. But I'm just going to go back to the all items. This is the one that I wanted. Staff survey. I don't have to change anything over here. This is all good. Add. Do. Yes, don't show me this again. Add to report. And there we go. This is the untitled report. You can see over here, these are the columns that were in my survey. That's a good sign, along with the teacher's email addresses. So that's all looking good. I'm happy with that. And there's some of the data right here too. That's normal. That's looking good. And then the only other thing I need to do before I stop, for now anyway, is put a proper title, right? So I'm going to put staff CAS survey from August 2020. And then enter. And that's it for the first step. Not too bad, right? Okay, try it yourself. Okay, everybody. So just a quick look at my data. As you might have noticed, I've switched to make things simpler. I switched from the teacher data survey that I was showing you at the first part of this video to an example from a design project, like the grade 7 one for a hand-eye coordination toy. And this is just some data that I whipped together really quickly. You've got various grades, categories, grade 6 to 8, grade 9 to 12. Maybe if you're lucky, you got a couple teachers and a couple parents. There's the gender. Then they rated on a Likert scale from 1 to 5. All these are Likert scales from 1 to 5. From, is my toy fun? Is it helpful for learning hand-eye coordination? Is it attractive, interesting looking? Are the aesthetics strong, fun looking? And is it strong enough to withstand the abuse and play of a 5-year-old? That's pretty important. Is it safe? That's hugely important. Give it a rating scale from 1 to 5. I didn't clarify this very, very strongly, but 5 is very good, 1 is very poor, 1 is terrible. And is the toy simple but still challenging enough, like that you can grow with it and that you would play with it for more than 2 minutes? Then there's often that other comments field in a survey where you ask people, do you have any other suggestions or any other comments? We're not going to do too much with that right now, but there they are, and sometimes they're blank. So here we go. I put it into DataStudio, just like the other one that I just showed you. It's the exact same way. And here we are with all the categories that I just described to you. And it automatically comes up with this little simple table, which is nice. Let's do a quick pie chart, because pie charts are often quite helpful for interpreting data. So I'm just going to go to this table, and instead of deleting it or changing it, because I could still find it useful later, I'm going to duplicate it. So control click, and then I can duplicate. On my Mac, that's control click. Maybe you're going to right click on a Windows machine, and then I'm going to drag it over. And while it's still highlighted, I'm going to do up here, I'm going to change the chart. Right now it's a table, but I'm going to click here and change it to a pie chart instead. And then bam, bada bam, bada boom. Very nice visual there. You can see the breakdown of the people that answered. And we can put a title on it as well with a text box, right? And we can just do a little simple title like age and grade breakdown of the respondents. And then you can shorten that up if you want. You can highlight the title, come over here, and there's formatting. You can change the font size. You can change the font. You can make it underlined. You can center it, which is what I'm going to do right now. You can easily move it. You can add a link even on here. It's almost like a mini web page in a way, if you think about it. You can add a lot of fun things to your dashboard here to help explain the data. And then, you can, other formatting features, you've got a background color change, which is kind of nice. You've got the border color for the text box, okay, et cetera, et cetera. I'll just leave it like that for now. It's not bad. And then I'm also going to maybe add another chart, maybe a bar chart for this data, because that would be really useful to, like what were the ratings for attractiveness, for if it's interesting looking or not. So we're going to go back to this chart here, and we're going to duplicate it again. Control, click, duplicate on a Mac. Leave it to right click on Windows. And then this box, this table is kind of in the way, so I'm going to shorten it up. Yeah, so it's not in my way anymore. And then this one I want to be a bar chart. So let's change the data. We change the data from over here with these available fields. And right now it's looking at grade and age in this dimension window, okay? So this is where we're going to change things. And also in the metric area down here. It has record count. Metrics are basically like numbers. Let's change that. Let's put, is the product fun or attractive? Let's put that in. There's the scores. And we're going to delete this record count. It's kind of useless to us right now, so just click this little box. And you might look at this and go, what? 28 people voted what in grade 6 to 8 for attractiveness? Well, no, that's a little bit misleading. That's because Google Data Studio isn't interpreting your numbers exactly the way you want it to. So you just go down here, instead of sum, see it says sum, it's like adding things up. And instead you do that, instead of adding up your scores, you click on that and you do count. Like how many times did people answer that it's attractive? So we've got, I'm going to stop. So next we'll do a simple bar chart or two, because those can be quite helpful as well for understanding data. So again, I'm going to click on that original table that came in when I first imported the spreadsheet. And I'm going to control click on it, duplicate. I'm going to drag that down. And this time, well, I'm going to keep the dimension of grade and age because I want to look at that. I think that's important to consider. And this time, though, I'm going to change, instead of the record count, like how many times, how many instances there are of grade 6 to 8, or how many teachers there are, how many parents there are. I'm going to, although that's kind of useful too, but it's already up there in the original table. I'm going to change this to the first category that I evaluated of attractiveness of the toy. I'm going to put it down there in the record count under metric and replace the record count. So only this is showing down here in the metric. Remember, the metric category are numbers. And if you look at those numbers, they don't really make sense. That's because they're adding them up all together. That's why it says sum over here. So I just have to click on this, get the pencil, and then instead of sum, I want average. I want to show the average score, and that makes a whole lot more sense. Actually, I can even change the name here for the column for the data. I think I'll do that. I'm going to put something a little bit similar, simpler and similar. Attractiveness rating, or attractiveness average rating. Yeah, I think that makes a little bit more sense. And you can see it changed it over here. It's going to be a little bit more obvious in a second. So this is all good. I've got it on average. That's good. And we click, and then there's the averages. Yes, but I wanted a bar chart. So I just go up here to chart. Right now it's a table. And I click on one of the many charts that you have as an option here. This is the real fun, I think, of DataStudio, because it gives you so many choices. And I'm going to click on column chart, and bam, it changes it. There's the attractiveness average rating. You see it changed the title. And so I can see 4 people, the ratings from grade 6 to 8, they averaged 4. That was the average rating. Grade 6 to 12, they are exactly the same. They have an average rating of 4 score from 1 to 5 on that Likert scale. Teachers were a little bit lower. Their average was 3.5 the score, and parents were a little bit lower, 2.5 as the average score. And then just to make this a little bit more obvious, I'm going to change the style of this chart. And I do that by going here to style. And again, you have a lot of nice options, but I want the data labels to show in each column. So you click that, and then bam, it shows it right in there, right in the columns. It shows the exact rating instead of making people figure out, is that a 2 or a 2.75? No, it's a 2.5. Of course, you have color changes here too, some options for the axes, show an axis title. That's kind of cool. I like that. And then, actually, no, I'm going to turn that off. And then remember, if you want to, you could insert another text box and do like a main title for this bar graph. But I actually think it's pretty good. But I'm just going to take this anyway because I want some consistency with the look. I'm going to copy paste it. And I'm going to drag it over here. And look at that. You can center things very nicely because it gives you those red guidelines. And I'll just change this to bar chart of first design specification about the attractiveness. Doing a very good job with spelling. Or look of my okay. And I think I'm in pretty good shape there. So you can do this over and over again, right? You just click on this, copy it, paste it, drag it somewhere else so that there's some space, like maybe just down below here. Line it up with those red guidelines. And then this time, for example, instead of looking at the attractiveness average rating, I'm going to look at the fun rating. So I'm just going to drag that in. Bada bang, bada boom. And holy smokies, it's almost always doing it for me now automatically. But you notice again, it summed up the numbers instead of finding the average that I wanted. So again, you just have to do a couple of extra clicks. Instead of the sum, we want average. And then everything is hunky-dory. And it's got it all displayed quite nicely. Just copy this title, paste it, and drag it over. Whoops, drag the wrong thing. And drag that title over so that I can put it onto the second bar chart. Okay, so hopefully that's nice and easy. You can get going here with finding different ways to display the results of your data now, because you should know all the basics that you need to know. I just have to change this title to be the second design specification about the fun of my product. Okay, try on your own. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions. So now let's do a little bit of work here on like theme and layout, the look overall of this dashboard. And I want to show you too that you can add pages to this on and on. Like I said at the start, it could become a little bit of a web page almost. Because remember, you can insert links as well. Anyway, let's not go too crazy here, but let's see about tidying things up a little bit on this page. So we'll take these down here. Actually, I think I'll just take this and I'll move it so it's over here and make sure it's lined up with the one to the left. And then we've already got this down here, this pie chart, and I'm just going to select both the title and the pie chart and move it down and, you know, like just try to make it look a little bit nicer and a little bit more lined up. And I'm just going to move it there so that the centers line up. You saw those red guidelines again. And then I'm going to move this original data table down and again try to like line up the centers. And then you'll see what I'm doing in a second here. I'm just going to push this down. Now I'm going to copy this title. And I mean, it looks well and good up there, but why not make it an official title of the whole page right on the dashboard there so people can't miss it? So yeah, we're gonna, whoops, I think I made too many selections there. So we'll just do that again with the text box, add a text box, and we'll stretch it out over here so that we can put in that title, paste, and then again, like I showed you before, just highlight that text and you can make it funky and look real nice with whatever font you want and the size that you want, as long as it's, professional and that you can read it pretty quickly and it's not too distracting. I like that quicksand font. And of course, too, we'll think about changing the color. So yes, we'll do that. That's looking pretty darn sharp. And then I'm going to center it. Nice. Looking good, looking good. And then look at this. This is awesome. So if you go to the internet and you search up, like, say, the ISB logo, the ISB logo that looks like, let's go to images. And it doesn't need to be high quality, by the way. Let's just go down here until we see our handy dandy ISB logo. Whoa, why is it so far down the search page? There it is. Anyway, we take that, right? Open it up and we download it, even though it's just a small one. The point is to get the colors, okay? Actually, this might even be interesting too. But anyway, you take the logo, you download it, right? So that it's saved in your downloads folder. Then you go back to your dashboard, you do theme and layout, and look at these nice layouts you have, right? So you can do this, you can do this groovy style. You can do this ocean text. That's nice, makes it look pretty nice. Probably have to fix up those titles because they're a little out of whack now. But if you go all the way down, actually just down here, extract the theme from the image. That's what we're going to do now. We're going to take the ISB logo with its colors. And remember, I downloaded it into the downloads folder. And I had actually done this like maybe a week ago or so. Hope I still have it here. There it is, images, PNG. Yep, that's the one that I want. Open. And then bida bam, bida boom. Look at this. It gives me 3 separate styles I can choose from with the ISB colors. It's so awesome. So I'm going to take that and apply. Oh, look at that. Pretty sweet. Okay, I mean, I think you will have to adjust some of these colors a little bit, but still, isn't that awesome? It's taking the colors from the image you found on the internet. That's really pretty sweet. So, and then the other thing too that I want to quickly show you is, use this control bar up here a little bit more. You can add more charts, of course, like we've been doing, but look, you can also add a page. So now we're on page 2 and you can report back some more data here, or it can be for your next design project. And you can put your data there, another dashboard for your next design project when you're reporting back on the results for criteria D. Awesome. Do it. Oh yeah, and by the way, guess you should probably name it, right? So things are a little bit more clear. You just scroll back and forth between the pages. Page 1, 2. Again, like a web page. Try it out. All right, look, I can't help myself. I know I'm a little bit excited here, but just 1 or 2 other little tricks that are awesome, and then I'll stop talking. So here we are, back at the dashboard. 2 more tricks. So much fun. So one thing that you can do that is so powerful and quite handy for making things more sensical and logical for your users, for people looking at this, is you add a control. And when you click on add a control, you have many choices, but just do a simple drop-down list. And we're going to base it on grade, okay? Like we're going to let users or anyone looking at this choose the grade that they want to focus on. So where do you want to put this control? Right here, where it's nicely lined up with other bits. And that's it. Now you can click on it You can do grade 6 to 8 teacher, parent, 9 to 12 only. Let's do only grade 6 to 8. Bam! Look at that. It changes everything. It changes the graphs based on the control choice. Oh, so awesome. Okay, and one more thing too. So insert, and look at all these things you can insert, but we're not going to get into that right now. Insert image. Again, remember, it can be like a nice web page. I'm going to put the image right here, and I already have the image. It's sitting there on my desktop. There it is. Look at that nice grade 7 HEC picture. And it's going to pop on in there. That's the right image. I don't have to do anything else. It just takes a little bit of time. And there we go. The image is in. Bam, look at this sweet page. It is really shaping up and so personalized. Then you can share it. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Try it.